Welcome to the Burnt Pancakes podcast. I am your host, Katie, and today we're sitting down for a conversation with Michelle Jones. She is an eating psychology and weight coach and also a mom, and we're talking all things body image, that mom bod, and that pressure that we feel to bounce back. She's going to sit down and walk us through how to get to the root of those feelings and how we can learn to embrace our bodies. You are not going to want to miss this conversation. All right. Welcome, Michelle, to the podcast. I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I'm so excited to be diving into all of the things we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, this is a topic that when I said I was going to start a podcast and I said, hey, everyone, what are some topic ideas? It was like my body, like how do I accept myself, image, mom, all of that. And it's just not brought up enough. So here we are, we're opening that can of worms. So tell me a little bit about, I know you're a mom. So how old? Give me like the rundown. How long have you been a mom?
So I have a 4-year-old. He just turned 4 in January, and I have a 1.5-year-old. So he's 18 months.
Oh, so
And
boy mom. I'm a boy
yes,
mom
2
also.
boys. Yeah. So the first one kind of like prepared me for the second one, but at the same time, they're completely different,
Oh,
right?
yes.
So, and I used to hear that all the time before getting pregnant and after my first one, like they're all different. And I'm like, well, we'll see. And they were like so
They're
100%
so
right.
different. So
But
different.
so when I had my first boy, it was a huge challenge, and I know 100% I'm not the only one that's saying this for the first time. And I feel like I got into an unhealthy habit, that
Mhm.
cycle of a lot of things came with being a mom. And just during pregnancy, that was just a big thing for me. I used to be um, like a fitness advocate, and I still am, by the way. But back then, before becoming a mom, I was very into health, very into fitness, but I was into health in the not so healthy way. And I'll dive more
Oh,
into that
okay.
in a little bit.
Mm.
So I when I had him, I came into like this real world of like this is what your body looks like now. Whereas before having kids, I had like my 4-pack, or even like as I don't
Yeah.
know if I got to my 6-pack, but I had like my 4-pack, and everything was just revolving about my looks, on how my body looked,
Mhm.
on and that to me was something that I grew up with
Yeah, I
because
same with me. I don't know where it even came from, but body image and just the thought of how I looked from I can't even remember a time in my life where I didn't think about my weight and how I look. Yeah. I
and
asked my husband once, I'm like, did you ever like feel like you were fat? He's very active. And he's like, well, there was that one summer where I went a little overboard, but I don't know, maybe a month. And I was like, probably since second grade. It has been on my mind every day.
And
Uh,
it's such a big thing, and such a huge pressure for us women more than it
mhm.
is for men. It's
Yeah.
it's already it's proven.
Yeah.
And when we first of all, what I want to answer your question about
Mhm.
where does that come from? And it comes from many places. It comes from your upbringing. It comes from what you were taught on social media, on the magazine covers, on movies, on
Cosmopolitan back when in my day.
exactly. Yeah. You also got it from your friends. Um, all of some many of us also got it from our mothers, or our mother figures, right? We looked up to
Mhm.
them because they were where they're supposed to be the ones that love us, and that nurture us and care for us. So whenever we would hear them say, oh my god, I need to go on a diet, what do you think our brain
Yes.
got? So
Yeah.
all of
And
those
all like good intentions, but now you're so aware of like what I
right.
say, even around my boys. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my son said the other day, what's a diet? And I'm like, oh, a diet is the food you eat. So you could have a a vegetable diet. You can have a diet with lots of, but I didn't want it to be like, it's so you
Yeah.
lose weight. It,
And
oh,
yeah, and you know what? It's kind of confusing because when you ask someone like what's your diet look like? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're on a diet, like on a
yes.
weight loss diet, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It just means like what do
The food
you
you're intaking.
nurture your body with, right? What
Mhm.
exactly? What are the foods that you take into your body? So there's also kind of like a confusion around that. And no wonder that we're confused, right? Because there's
Mhm.
so much information from experts giving us about how our body should look, about this certain data and the BMI that they use to get a certain number. And you know what? I have come to learn that if you're not like in a bodybuilding competition, or if you're not trying to achieve something very specific, what you need to do is relax. And that will naturally take you to your natural weight.
Mhm.
However, getting to that relaxation state it can be very, very challenging, especially after becoming a mom. So I don't
Oh,
know if
that's a whole
I'm
other, like, you throw on, I've already had like body image issues, and then you get pregnant and it's like, what is this
yeah,
body? Yeah. So
exactly.
you're like super open about it on social media, and like you have yourself in a bikini while you're pregnant, and I saw that and I was like, I want to be her. Like, how do you get that? How do you get that confidence and go, I look great? Like, I look back at my 20s and I used to think, like, oh, I'm out of shape. I looked amazing. And
Yeah.
now I wish I had that body. But it's like, how do you
How do
nurture
you
that?
navigate those so
Mhm.
you need to, I guess there's a different couple of ways that you can go about it, and each person is different. We all are very bio individual, so your needs might be completely different than mine. However, what we do have in common is that what we think is going to, I don't want to use the word control, but it's going to have a really powerful uh way of us getting in tune with our body, how we think about ourselves, how confident we are about ourselves and
Mhm.
our bodies. So there's a lot of mind work that needs to take place in order for you to get to that place where you want to be, whether it's self love, self acceptance, body confidence, a positive body image. So there's a lot that comes with where you want to get to. And there's a lot of um I want to say like not activities but techniques that you can use to get to that place. And what I love to tell my friends, my the people that I surround myself with, my clients, is that we like there's never going to be not every day is going to be a positive body image day. And we need to accept that there will be some days because of X, Y, or Z, we are not feeling a body positive day. We're looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're just not happy, or we just want to complain about our body, and that's okay. We first need to learn to know that not having a good image body day, good body image day, it's okay, right?
Mm.
So when we do that, we're actually relaxing into our body. We're actually relaxing into, I'm okay. I'm a human being. My body can give me so much more. And this is also another technique, like affirmations, right? Like, what
Mm.
else has your body given you? Because we've been using punishing strategies to shape shift it, right? To lose weight, to all of these strategies that have been so hurtful for us, and that even though they might work short term, they're not going to work in the long term, right? Because they are coming from self hate. So if you want to get to, if your destination is self love, you can't go through a journey of self hate. You need to start from the journey of self love. It comes with its challenges, and it takes the same amount of energy to go through a negative than a positive or like a hateful or a loving way to where you want to go, right? So That's what I really like to teach. That's one of my strategies, my techniques to use, and it does really get you to that place of feeling that you're enough, feeling that you are lovable, because not because of how you look, but just because you exist. Because we, like, again, we're so bombarded with we need to look a certain way because of everything we've been just bombarded with. And it's not that, that's not the place we need to go. We need to go deep into ourselves, into our hearts. and and I know this sounds like very like, I don't know, people seem to think it's more of what's the word? Like, it doesn't work. But it does. It does, but you have to do the work.
So like
That's
you could spend every day working out hardcore, but if you don't change your mindset, you'll never be. And I see that with myself. Like I was in great shape in my 20s, but I didn't see that. And as I've gotten older and gone through these pregnancies and all this has changed, you start thinking all these negative thoughts in my head, it's my head. Like my friend said to me once, I made some comment about my weight and she was like, would you say that to your best friend? Like
and
the thing you're saying in
exactly.
your head. And I was like, I would never tell you that. She's like, why are you telling yourself? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. So like the first step for me was like, just like be aware that those thoughts are in your head. So when you get ready to look in the mirror and you hear those, like tell that person in your head that you would like to
Yeah.
change that. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your body is your friend, right? You're living
Yes.
with your body every single day. So if you're living with a friend every day, how would you treat it? How
Oh,
would you
love
talk
that.
to it? Let's
Mhm.
respect it, right? Like, let's love it.
Let's cheer
And
her on.
yeah, exactly. And I know there's a lot of people that, and I know this because I've been in like the fitness industry and the health and wellness for
Mhm.
over 10 years. And a lot of, and I respect every opinion. However, when people say like, I'm not telling you to love yourself, you don't have to. You don't have to love yourself. But if you don't love yourself into whatever journey you're on, you're going to have a harder time than if you actually go through it with loving, in a loving approach, in a loving way. So another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about in this part of the when I was talking about how to relax in our body is there are two kinds of responses that our body has. It's the stress response and it's the relaxation response. And I'm going to get a little technical here.
Oh, I love
Um,
it. I love the science of this.
but yeah, so it's the science behind it. So there's the parasympathetic nervous system,
Okay.
which is our relaxation response. And then we have the stress response, which is the sympathetic nervous system. And when our body goes into stress, it goes into survival mode.
Mhm.
So what that means is everybody who's dieting, who's meal skipping, and I'm talking about like super eating super low calories for a long period of time, your body's going to go into that sympathetic nervous system dominance. And it's going to put your body on survival mode. And what happens in that state is your body doesn't build muscle because there's a lion chasing you in the jungle. And so
Mm.
what is it going to do? It's going to store fat because the ultimate goal is to survive. So it's going to do everything in its power to be able to hold on to that fat and be sure to run away from the lion, because you have only 2 to 4 seconds to know exactly what's going to happen in that period of time when a lion is chasing you. It's either going to catch up to you and it's going to eat you, or you're going to be able to run away, right? So, whenever we are living, and as moms, this is a huge deal because how
All
much
the
stress do
time.
we go through?
Yeah. All the
How
time.
much stress are we having in our life? And you can get that instantly. You can know that because a lot of people, they either gain weight or resist weight, because again, you're holding on to that body fat because your body is not going to let go. And there's
Yeah.
other symptoms that come with it, not only gain weight or weight loss resistance, but there's just a lot that comes with it. And stress is good and natural for those 2 to 4 minutes. But after
Mhm.
that, when we are living on a low level stress every single day, our body's going to have a huge impact in that.
You see health
And
issues just pop up.
exactly. And some people might experience weight gain or weight loss resistance, and other people might have digestive issues, gut issues, hormonal issues.
Well, I
And
for sure got eczema when I was very stressed at one point in my life. And
yeah,
that's like, and once I finally was able to get rid of that situation and my eczema went away and it has not come back.
yeah.
But yeah,
And sometimes we can't explain it, right? Even doctors can't explain
right.
it. So it's not always about treating ourselves with medicine, which in some cases, yes, medicine is very useful. But in other cases, let's take a look at what else could be happening, right? What else is going on in your life that might be causing you those symptoms. So
My
there's a
three
lot.
children.
Yeah, exactly, right? And what comes with that? We
Mhm.
we we tend to want to, and I know this because I was there, being like a victim in, I don't have time. Oh, my kids are just taking so much time. They're draining my energy. Well, what if I started, and this is what I actually started doing. What if I left the victimhood and I started saying, what if I can do the best that I can with what I have and stop complaining, start owning what I'm going through and use that as my power, as my fuel to like drive me into the right direction, into a healthy direction, into becoming the mom and the woman and the wife and the sister and the daughter that I want to be. And also show that to my kids. That's a
Mm.
huge thing for me. Like being able to be the person that I want to be and show them that you can do it. That's like one of my biggest purpose for what I do, why I do what I do. Because I want to show them that whatever they want to do in life, they can do it, but they do have to do some work. They
Yeah.
have to work on themselves. And there's a point in life where it gets a little bit more challenging, especially like becoming a mom. You get more challenges thrown to you at life, but you learn not to fight them. I don't like the word fight. I like the word kind of just going with the right flow, and just, it's, I feel like sometimes we get into a whole lot of emotions, and emotions are like waves, you know? We need
Mhm.
to learn to like ride that wave, and we go through the emotion. We must experience that emotion, because when we suppress that emotion or hold on to it, again, symptoms will arise. And that's another thing that happens
Yes.
a lot in motherhood. We don't want to talk about how we're feeling. We don't want to talk about our depression, our anxiety. I went through postpartum and depression myself. So anxiety and postpartum depression. So I kind of know how that
How that
goes.
feels.
And it's about learning to ride that wave, and talking about it and expressing it. Maybe you won't do it at, you don't want to do it at a public place, but you have to find that time for you to let it out.
Yeah.
And it's, again, like I said, it's riding that wave. Otherwise, you're going to drown, right?
Mhm.
If you cannot ride that wave and get to shore, you're going to drown in it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that as moms we must learn how to do. And there's different ways to go about it, because again, we're all bio individual. We all have different needs. And it's a world of just self exploring ourselves, our needs, because before becoming moms, we had maybe different needs, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our life just changes. And there's things we need to just kind of adapt with and find other ways. Because, for example, I used to work out maybe 2 hours at the gym, but now I am.
Right.
I mean, I maybe I could do it, but I would be sacrificing other things, and
Yeah.
that's not my priority. My priority right now is raising my children, like being present with them, and also finding something that helps me be relaxed, so that I'm not, because not being relaxed brings a lot of other issues, like you're in a bad mood all the time, you don't have like high energy to be with your kids. So it's a lot that comes with it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a lot about self exploration and just trying out things that work for you, because again, what might work for you might not work for me. And the same goes with all of the diets or the way of eating that exist in the world. Not
There's
every
so many options now, so many choices. It's like, which
Mhm,
one do I turn to? Yeah.
mhm.
I
and
love
and
that how you said just you make a choice to change. Like I used to always do this boot camp at 5 in the morning. It was great. I was in great shape, but I was killing myself because I was so tired every day. And
Mhm.
after I had my third son, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I was in great shape, but I need rest and I need to be able to sleep in the morning. And when workouts and when I can fit them in is when they're going to come because
Yeah, and
it
sometimes
wasn't
when
working.
burnout yeah, and when burnout hits,
Mm,
unfortunately, that's the only time we're like, "Oh my god, I need to
I need
change."
a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, right? Because you did get to that place. You're conscious now. You're aware of how you're feeling and you're able to say, "This isn't what I want. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to be more confident."
Yeah. I want
So
to make it through the afternoon without crashing. I'm so tired.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Did you
So
ever feel the pressure to bounce back after having
ab-
kids?
absolutely.
How
Absolutely.
do we navigate that? Because I'm 3 years out. My youngest is
You
3, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't bounced back yet. And I don't think bouncing back is
I don't think it's
yeah,
in anymore.
no.
I think we need to, as moms, start changing the vocabulary in just, I've left it out of my vocabulary ever since I had my first child. So first of all, that's also something that can cause us stress, which will not take us to bouncing back, right?
Mhm.
Right. And what I like to say is, how about we start seeing it out as bouncing forward? Because we're not really bouncing back. I mean, think about it.
A
We
lot
had
that
a
changed.
kid. I mean, having a kid is just very powerful, you know? So how can we like bounce back instead of bouncing forward? We're
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 never the same once you have a kid.
and
And
we're
that's a good thing. That's a
growing.
good thing.
We're growing, we're evolving. So if we're growing and evolving, we can't be going backwards. We're going
Yes, I
forward.
love that.
So it's that kind of that belief that we have, right? That again has been taught to us at some point in our life, um, that we need to eliminate. And that's a lot of all the beliefs that we have are what's keeping us from getting to that place where we actually want to be. So there's a lot of elimination that needs to happen to kind of flush like all those toxins in our brains, which are our
Mhm.
beliefs, right? Those toxic beliefs that we have about getting to a certain body or a certain
That
weight.
weight. I want that
Like
weight.
who says you need to weigh 140 pounds? Who says? Where is that in like a manual? Does it say? So and again, it goes back to all the experts telling you this, right? But with time and science, we've come to know that it comes down to much more than just that. It's not about weighing a certain
Yeah.
number. Is that going to really make you happy? Because I've been there. I've gotten to my weight, and
Yes.
trust me, I was not
Nope.
happy
Nope.
because I had given so much of myself, of my energy, that I started to kind of go. Probably not depression, but I did go like downhill in just connection with my friends, with my family. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to go out to social outings, to dinner, to brunches because, oh no, I can't eat that, you know?
Mhm.
So is that really going to make you happy? So
Yeah.
it's more about when I also talk about nourishment, right? And it's nourishment with food, of course, but what else nourishes you? Is it being with your family? Is it being with your friends? Is it having a long conversation over the phone with a friend that you haven't spoken with in years, maybe? Like what, maybe a vacation or going outside for a walk. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And the little things really do change our day to day. And it does decrease the stress load that we have as moms, doing things that we enjoy. And I get it that at the beginning it's really hard because it is. Truth is, when we are very recent in postpartum, we have to obviously take care of our baby's needs, and there's a lot going on, right?
Yes.
Especially when you have more than one,
Yes.
because now you have to attend to their needs as well. But you also need to remember that however tiny effort you can make for yourself is going to have a huge impact on your day to day with your kids, with your family, and with your obviously with yourself. So if it's maybe just taking a warm bath or a warm shower, or having someone take care of your baby while you do something that you really, really love, whatever that is, that's going to be life changing. And obviously when you transition out into um, postpartum, you start to be able to do more things. So you start incorporating, you develop that habit once they're born. And then you start making, maybe instead of taking 5 minutes for yourself, you start taking maybe 10 or
Mhm.
15. And you start making those like larger jumps into more self-care, more self-love, more self appreciation and acceptance. So that's something that I have worked through, and it's not it might not be easy at the beginning, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. And I
Yeah.
can see it just with how I behave around my kids, how I behave around with my husband, with my families.
Yes.
um so it's
Yeah, I
it,
would say as the kids get a little older, so having my youngest is 3, this is the first time in my life where I feel like I can start doing a little bit for myself. Like I
Mhm.
now try and read during the day, or I am okay now saying, "Honey, I am going to meet some friends for breakfast and you've got the kids. Like they're going to be fine with you." Or for
Yeah.
the longest time it was like, "You're breastfeeding, you can't leave them." So like there has been moments of like I'm starting to find myself again
Hmm. Hmm.
after
Yeah, or the mom guilt
9
kicks
years of
in,
motherhood.
right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
You just
the
have a little bit
huge.
more freedom. It is when you've got that little one attached to you the whole time, it's hard. It's hard to find those little moments. But now it's like, oh, they play for 10 minutes and I got to read a chapter of my book like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That to me now is like my self-care. It's not
absolutely,
like going to that
absolutely.
hour-long workout class. It's like that feels good to me.
Yeah, and it's also about exactly like finding obviously what works for you and enjoying that, being present in the moment. Because if you're reading your book and you're like, oh my God, maybe I need to hurry
Yeah.
up because I need to go cook and then I need to do laundry.
Laundry. Yes.
Mhm. So you need, whenever you're in that moment of self care, of self reflection, of just reading your book, be in that moment.
Like there's
Be
that relaxation, right? You get back to
exactly. So
that.
you're sinking into that, like you relax and you breathe, because we're running around all the time, like we're going on the go always, like you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, slow down. And I know we live in a world where society tells
Fast
us
paced.
to hustle and you need to be doing this, and hey, now women are working, so aren't you working? And but you're also a mom, so what,
Here's your to-do list. Let's go. Start checking them
exactly,
out. Yeah.
exactly. So
One of the things I loved, you put out a video about how the importance of vitamin F with losing weight. That was just so clever. Can you tell us about vitamin F?
vitamin F stands for forgiveness. And this, whoa, this is such a powerful, I love talking about this.
Yeah, I like got chills when I saw it because I was like,
I-
that's exactly what I needed to hear.
it's such a powerful vitamin. It's, I already call it a vitamin. I think it's even more important than the actual physical vitamins that we might even take, because forgiveness also brings us to that relaxation.
Mhm.
And we need to learn to forgive ourselves for, and this is like, it's like a whole spectrum, right? I mean, let's talk about forgiving ourselves for treating our bodies the way we've treated them, with disrespect, maybe with punishing them, punishing it with super strict diets, but also forgiving ourselves for not taking the time to be with ourselves. We're for always being in other places. So, for
Yeah.
example, being a mom, the last place you're sometimes are is here with you,
Oh yeah,
sitting
you're
with
giving
yourself.
100% of yourself away. Like I've got my children. I've got
Mhm.
to do everything.
Yeah. And the other part is also forgiving others. And this goes back to this can lead into like traumas as well. Like maybe it was someone that hurt you, let's say 20 years ago, but you're still holding on to that grudge. Then guess what's going to happen? You're not relaxed. Your body's
Mhm.
not relaxed because you're holding on to that grudge. You're like still fighting and defending yourself. So, where's that going to take you? It's going to take you to your stress response, right? And your body's probably still there. So, again, it comes back to you're probably still resisting that weight or you're gaining weight because you haven't learned to let go.
Oh, that is
So,
so powerful.
yeah. So forgiving others allows you to enter the state of relaxation and let go. 'Cause it's like taking layers of clothes off, you know? You feel more weightless, or not weightless, but you feel like
Free.
you let go of that emotional baggage that you're carrying.
Yeah.
Because it's not only about food. Yes, food is very important. Very, very important, obviously. But what we do when we're not eating is also very important for our health, for our bodies, for our mind, just our well-being in general, right?
Yeah.
To be able to sit with us and say, I'm okay with that person that I'm looking at in the mirror. So, some of the things that we can do to forgive others, to forgive ourselves, is literally having a conversation with ourselves. I've done it in the mirror, and
Yes.
you can do this whether you're coming out of the shower, you're bare naked, just looking at yourself in the mirror and crying, maybe crying it out and saying, I am so sorry for the way that I have treated you, talking to your body and getting into that connection with it, and just whatever comes to mind. Maybe it's uh talking to your ex that hurt you, right? And it's not about, oh no, like we can't talk about that because it's past, and let's now focus on the future. Well, yeah, but if you or the present, but if you want to focus on the present, you need to let go of what you've been hanging on to, right? And sometimes for many is what we've been taught from the world, from our parents. How do we learn to forgive them for what they kind of put in our body, put
Yeah.
in our life, right? So it's learning to forgive and to know that for the majority, most of them were doing the best that they could with what they had.
Hmm.
But it's our responsibility to take control of our life and to say, you know what? This is something that I don't like about myself, or this is triggering me. What can I do to self regulate myself? What can I do to help me be more with myself? So, so yeah, that's vitamin F goes a long, long, long way, but it is about forgiveness, and forgiveness will take you to very beautiful places, especially when it comes to your body, and especially when it comes to being a mom, um, and looking at the body that you have now.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the message I want to say. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You are on this journey and you're learning as you're going. So I love the idea of how your mindset and your forgiveness is the start. That
Yeah, absolutely. And I
like
do
this
want
is
to say,
eye-opening for me. I'm like, I'm gonna go stand in front of the mirror today. As uncomfortable as that does make me feel,
that's
that
where
is
growth happens,
part of it.
though.
Yeah, that's where it starts. So,
Hmm.
okay, so we're working on our mindset. That's the first place we go. But let's say we wanted to implement some healthy eating habits and fitness. What are some just like very basic things that we can do just to start? I know everyone's different, but like, hey, everyone can work on this today. What would you say are some good tips?
Sure. So, first of all, like you said, we all have our different goals. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what do you want to achieve? And with that being said, I do want to say that it is okay for moms to want to lose weight, because we live in a society where there's mixed messages, right? Everyone's telling you love yourself as you are. You don't need to change anything about your body. But then, there's people telling you you need to lose weight. And
Get your body back. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
so
so
you,
conflicting.
it is. So
Or
you
and
need
it's
to
hard to look in the mirror and go, well, I remember what I used to look like, or comparing like after this pregnancy, I looked this way. And now after my third, why don't I look that way? So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's getting to what do you want, right? Stop listening to all the noise.
Mhm.
And what do you want? Do you want to lose weight? Because if you do, that's perfectly fine. Now, how how you're going to achieve that is going to be very, very important, because are you going to do it out of punishing strategies or nourishing
Mm.
strategies? What's
Yeah.
going to work for you? What's not going to work for you? So that's one huge tip that I would give all the moms out there who are trying to lose weight or not trying to lose weight and just want to live a
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle and have a good relationship with food and their body, because it does
Mhm.
come down to that. There's a lot of moms and a lot of women that really don't want to lose weight. They just want to have that um healthy relationship with food and their body.
Yes.
And so that's one of my biggest tips is start
Oh,
using
I'm writing
strategies.
it down. I'm writing it down
Yes.
right now. I love that. You want to punish your body or nourish your body. Oh,
Exactly. Exactly. And again, the nourishing strategies can be moving your body in ways that you enjoy. So if you hate going to boot camps, for example, then it's not going to work. It's not a sustainable
mhm.
goal to lead a healthy life. But if you love boot camps and it gets you up in the morning and you get excited about it and you just feel so good afterwards, then go for it. Like
Yeah.
that's where what's a punishing strategy and what's a punishing or nourishing strategy.
Mm.
And then, for example, if you, let's say before becoming a mom, you used to love going or having dates with your girlfriends one day a week, right? Okay, now that you're a mom, how can you maybe bring that back into your life? Something that used to bring you so much joy. Will that bring you joy right now in this moment, now that you're a mom again? Will that help you feel better, with more energy, more nourished? And if the answer is yes, then you need to find the time, right? Because sometimes I like to say this, is it lack of time or is it lack of self love, right? Because
Mm.
time, we can find it. If
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
really want to do something, we're going to find the time,
Yeah.
right? If you really want to have a certain goal and you want to get there, you're going to do everything in your power to actually get there. The problem is we sometimes tend to do it from strategies that are not going to help us, that are not sustainable, that are punishing. So those are two things that we can definitely do, but again, it's asking ourselves that question of, will that help me feel better? Will that make me feel joy? Will it make me feel happy, be a better mom? And there's nothing wrong with experimenting, right? For
Mhm.
example, I love lifting weights. It's just, I don't know, it's something about lifting weights that just gives me, I don't know, just strength. And I used to think that I could go run outside and like run marathons, and maybe at some point in my life I will, but I just don't enjoy running. I just don't. I'll do it every once in a while if I feel like it. If I'm like, I maybe I see the weather's good to run outside, and I'm like, you know what, this feels like a good day to run. But I'm not punishing myself with, I have to go and run 5 miles every day, unless that's something that makes you feel good,
Right.
that brings you joy, that you feel good about it, that's sustainable for you, right?
Yeah.
So
I love it.
so
Your message is all like, it just seems like you're putting the power in our hands.
exactly.
It's not like, yes, there are so many times I worked out and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't like this. Why was I torturing myself?
Mhm,
It's, yeah,
mhm.
I love
And
that.
it's also part of listening to our body. Like, what is our body wanting us to do? Is it asking for rest? Is it asking to push a little bit more? Because sometimes we can, right? If we're like into challenge and we're
Sometimes it feels good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's learning to listen to our bodies and know that we as moms, as women, we have the power and the capability of saying this is where it ends. Like this, I won't give more of me because I'm not going to feel good. Or there are days where there will be, you know what, I think I can do a little bit more today. So
Yeah.
it's finding that balance also.
I love that. All right. So you've had a background in health and fitness, and you've started your own program. Can you tell us a little bit more about the program and how you're helping moms and women?
Yes. So my program is a 12-week program where we basically break down all of the beliefs that you have,
Mhm.
because everybody has different beliefs about food, about your body, about weight, about everything, right? It's about your life. Um, and we just pretty much talk about it. We have this conversation, and I'm also in the making of a course. This is the first
That's
time I think I'm
exciting.
saying it. Yeah. So it entails a lot. There's a lot of information, but what I'm doing is I'm implementing that into the course. So whenever that client is there, or that mom or women or whoever is in the program is taking the course, we talk about those things. So whatever's popping up for them, that will be into our daily conversations. So it can be things such as those punishing and or nourishing strategies that we've used to lose weight, right?
Mhm.
And what I love to tell people is, again, what I mentioned before is, whether you want to lose weight or not want to lose weight, whatever your goal is, whether you want to have a happy and healthy relationship with food, or you have I also work with people that binge eat or emotionally eat. We dig deep into the root cause of why you're not there, why you're not having that healthy relationship with food, what we can do to get you there. So that's the most that's the power of the program, and it does
It's like the
take.
root of it. You're getting to the root of where all
We
this,
are, we
which
do.
is like in like the fitness world and the nutrition world, it's more like here's a band-aid. Like here's what you can,
Exactly.
but it's not fixing what is at the
Exactly.
core of it. Oh, I'm
Exactly.
gonna
And
do some deep
we,
diving.
yeah, we think that having a body, the perfect body or the perfect diet, is going to change our happiness or make us
Mhm.
happy. But it goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the perfect body and the perfect diet doesn't bring you any of that.
Yeah.
It's only the physical changes, but are you really happy?
Happy. Yeah. So do you work like one-on-one with people, or is it a community that this
Right
group?
now, it's only a one-on-one. I am potentially going in the future to open a group coaching program. But for now, I am doing a one-on-one coaching because I am focusing on your specific goals, your bio individual needs, and the group coaching will be a little bit different. I haven't really set the parameters for it,
Mhm.
but
You have a vision of it's coming.
yes,
It's
yes,
coming.
exactly. I
I
do.
like that
I
because I
do.
like having women who can all just be open about it. I was just
Mhm.
talking to a friend yesterday and we were like, oh, our bodies since pregnancy. And it's like that, it helps to be able to share with other women what you're going
Yeah.
through.
And,
Right.
and in group coaching, what I plan to do is kind of like give everybody a chance to say something where we can, because there's always a takeaway from
Mhm.
from someone.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't thinking about it, maybe it wasn't your subconscious, or maybe you've thought about it at some point, but you forgot and didn't bring it up that day. So it
Mhm.
always whatever someone says serves all.
Yeah.
So that's something that it is planned for the future, but for
Mhm.
now it's only a one-on-one.
Love that. Okay. So if people want to find you, where do we go?
Yeah, so if you go to, actually, I have two accounts
Do it
on
all and I'll put it in the
Instagram.
show notes. Okay. Go. Yeah.
So the first one is at, and then my name, Michelle Jones dot G.
Okay.
And that this is like the mom, where I started with all
That's
the
probably, and that's where I found you.
mom
And I was like,
life.
oh my gosh, she's talking about her postpartum boobs, everything. I love it.
And then the other account is where that is targeted towards moms. That's
Okay.
all about moms, and I do share like mom life, but also what we've been talking about, and all of the emotional eating, binge eating, um, and I have the other account, which is it's essentially the same thing, but moms are not in the picture.
Got it.
So, and it's dot Michelle Jones.
Okay. We'll make sure we put both of those on there. And I get it because I have, my motherhood account on Burnt Pancakes with Katie, but then I also have like a potty training account. And I'm like, the moms over here don't want to hear about potty training. So
Yeah,
we're going to
exactly,
keep those totally
exactly.
separate. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. It's hard to manage both, but it's important for like the people following. I'm like, I know they don't want to, you don't want to hear about that. So, well,
Yeah.
thank you. I cannot thank you enough. It is so like refreshing just to hear another mom talk about it and also kind of put it out there like you can change if you want to. And this is where you start. So thank you so
Exactly.
much. I
Well, thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for having me, Katie. I enjoyed so much this conversation.
That's great. And so for anyone listening, make sure to check out Michelle and subscribe to this podcast because it comes out every Friday. And remember that everyone burns their first pancake. So just keep flipping.